Welcome to the Four Listeners Program. Welcome aboard, everybody. Thanks for checking us out this week. What up, everybody? I'm Spear. On the mics this week, we have the illustrious Corey G. What is up, sir?
I'm in a bad mood. How about you?
I'm not in a bad mood. Well, now I'm in a bad mood because I know you're in a bad mood. I feel for you. I'm with you.
Thanks, buddy. That's sweet.
Not contributing to Corey's bad mood this week is the Z-Man, who is out and about doing things that are not this. So, filling in this week, sitting in it's time for some Hammer time. Please welcome to the show, my boy Hammer. What's up, dude?
Hammer time? Ugh. Feel like I'm back in early 1990s. I'm not wearing parachute pants over here,
that's
sir.
unfortunate. I was really hoping that you were wearing the parachute pants.
Why would you set your buddy up that badly?
Yeah.
That's awful, sir. I'm actually ready to hang up.
I think you need to come in with a better intro.
All right.
For your buddy.
Okay. Sitting in for the Z-Man this week is my boy Hammer. What's up, Hammer?
I'm better now after that shitty intro you started with me earlier.
Fantastic, then. This week on the program, something must be done about professional sports lockouts. At the recording of this show, the NFL is still locked out. The NBA joined them about a week and a half ago, and there doesn't seem to be any end in sight for the NBA. The NFL at least is moving a little bit forward, and we might actually get some football this year. And it basically comes down to money on all accounts here. Both of these lockouts are due to how much of the revenue gets shared between the owners and the players. And it's either 55% or 57% or 50-50 or what have you. It doesn't matter. We're talking about billions of dollars here that get split up. And these guys are multimillionaires. The owners are multi-billionaires many times over. So I ask at this point, what the fuck are they all arguing about? Can't we just play some football? Can't we just play some basketball? What the fuck?
So from what I'm understanding, you're pro fan, you're pro, would you say pro player at this point, and anti owner?
I don't think I'm pro player or pro owner at this point. I'm pro football. I want to get some football. I want to get some basketball. I want to see these guys actually do the jobs that they're paid to do. Right? The owners are paid to put a product on the field for fans to enjoy, and the players are paid to become part of that product. And if you're not doing your jobs, what the fuck are you doing?
I can agree with that. I mean, I'm in support of the player because I hate rich white people who control this country. But generally, I disagree with how they get paid, and I think that needs to be fixed.
You disagree with how the owners get paid or how the players get paid?
No, how the players get paid.
How much they get paid, or? No,
I don't care how much they get paid. I mean, I think it should be incentives more than anything.
Rather than like a guaranteed salary.
I'm talking like, okay, a minimum for car and food and house and all that stuff. But that's, maybe $1 million max, a couple million max. Then the rest is all incentives.
I like where you're going with that, but I do want to chime in because I know, Spear, you started talking about guaranteed money, etc. But I believe we should all be, paid on, our performance. Problem is, if you look at these guys that make it to the professional level, the odds of getting to the pros are very, very minute. So why not get paid those buku dollars? And there's a second part to my madness, and that is these guys have a very limited window of opportunity to make their money and run. These guys aren't exactly Einsteins. Some of them are. I'm not begrudging, some of them that are, brilliant, what have you. But most of the guys are just retarded chuckleheads that just know how to hit somebody, hit them hard, and be professional athletes. That only lasts you, what's the average, Spear? Do you have that number as far as...
Are we talking NFL?
Yeah, NFL.
Like the average NFL career. Yeah, the average NFL career is like 3.5 years.
Okay, 3.5 years. Okay, they're not making nearly as much money as, say, the baseball players make. We can get into that later, but as far as making their money, I can understand the thought process of trying to tip the scales into a better balance versus, as Corey, as you put it, the rich white man who I do aspire to be one day. Just have a lot of roadblocks in front of me as we speak.
My whole thing with this is, and I agree with you, right? If you have a short, like my career is going to span 40 some odd years, right?
Right.
So I'm going to have time to make my money, and these guys have a career that goes 3 years or 5 years or 10 years if you're really lucky. So you make your money where you can, but these guys make so much and such. Like, in order for me to make the amount of money that these guys are going to make in those 3 years, I'd have to work those 40 years. Right? I'm going to
have to work more like 160 or 200.
Well, wait a second. I see where you're going with that, but also think about why these salaries may be inflated. And it's not these dumb chucklehead jocks that are negotiating their salaries. It's the agents, okay? And the agents are taking, what's the average percentage? Like 10,
I think it's like
15%, depending on the agency.
Yeah.
So right off the bat, 15% is being skimmed right off the top.
Cry me a river, dude, because they're making $20 million a year. So if they're gonna carve off $4 million and hand it off to somebody, they still have $16 million.
Not true, because then they also have to pay taxes. So they're probably only making, I would say, what would you say, 60, 70% of that. All right, so you take another, $6 million off that. So now what are you left with?
$8 million? It's
and
still $8 million.
Then you have insurance you have to pay for.
Oh my God, are you for real with this?
Dude, you're talking to a freaking MBAer over here. Let's go.
You're one of them. Wait, you're an MBA?
MBAer.
What does that mean?
He's going for his master's in business administration.
Oh my God, you're totally one of them.
I told you, man, I'm an aspiring, rich white guy.
I understand your point because it happens to all of us by the time you're done paying for your benefits and for whatever Uncle Sam takes and whatever you nestle away for a rainy day and whatnot.
Don't forget gold chains, man. I need my gold chains to put around my neck.
Word.
To go with your parachute pants.
No, the point is this, okay? Even after you're done taking away all of that, you were still a multimillionaire. And that's just for 1 year's worth of effort. So if you have a career over the span of 3 to 5 years, you're still a multi-millionaire. You're still way ahead of anybody else just because you can hit a ball or tackle somebody or put a ball through a hoop.
Julius Peppers earns my annual salary with 1/20th of a forced fumble.
Adrian Gonzalez, I guess he's the first baseman for the Boston Red Sox.
Yeah.
I'm going to. I'll post this on the Facebook page. There's a salary crunch calculator that you can put in. You can put in your salary, and it'll tell you that I would need to work more than 150 years to make Adrian Gonzalez's annual salary, not his salary throughout the duration of his contract, his annual salary. I would have to work 150 years.
And how long was his contract? 7 years?
7 years. So we'll do it a different way. Carmelo Anthony for the New York Knicks, just got a 3-year, $65 million contract extension. If I take the mean average household income in the United States, average household, not one person, the household income, the average is $50,000. So if I put $50,000 in this calculator, the average household would need to work 433 and a third years in order to make Carmelo Anthony's annual salary.
Good, they should. Bunch of lazy layabouts. Awful.
Every half an assist, he makes $50,000.
Yeah, I like to see the average housewife, do a no-look pass,
Yeah.
No, it's not happening.
No.
So, yeah, he deserves every penny of it. Every penny, sir.
Why does he deserve every penny?
Because he's in New York. It's expensive to live there.
Okay. Prince Fielder is the first baseman for the Milwaukee Brewers.
Not for long.
Okay. But he has a $15.5 million 1-year contract with the Brewers. If you factor in the $50,000 a year, you would have to work 310 years to make Prince Fielder's salary for this year. The point is that it's not. Prince Fielder plays in Milwaukee, okay? It's not nearly as expensive as fucking New York. So your Carmelo Anthony argument falls apart when I move to Milwaukee.
You know what?
Your dollar stretches further in Milwaukee.
Milwaukee.
See, I wouldn't have a problem if they were making that money if it was tied directly to incentives. X $1,000 per point $1,000 per percentage of, TV ratings or ticket sales, Z for assists, all that crap. If they make that much money for their performance on the court or on the field, fine.
Well,
But
some of
you
them
look
do
at
have
something
that.
like Elton Brand. How many games has the Elton Brand played in the past 5 years?
Yeah, I mean he's your good example of a bust, right? And a good example of why you shouldn't guarantee this kind of money to these players. I mean,
That's what I'm saying. It should be performance.
Mm.
Performance.
Well, they do have a couple
You
of.
NBA son of a bitch.
I can think of a couple of contracts where performance it's like a performance laden contract. I know going back to the Yankees, I know they threw in an Andy Pettitte a couple of years ago, and to be honest, Andy had a bad year coming into this contract year. So a lot of people see these performance based contracts as almost like a punishment. For having, an off year or a couple of off years in between, their really great years.
If
I
you
mean, I
look,
see your point. I completely see your point, and I agree with it. Doesn't mean that, especially these guys with agents and everything like that. I mean, do you pay for goodwill? I mean, prime example is Derek Jeter,
Yeah.
in New York. I mean, the guy, he's batting like 250. He's lost a lot of range at shortstop. Everyone says it. Does that contract that he made, was it a 3-year extension for like 50 some million? You would never pay somebody that kind of money, especially in the declining years, of their playing days. However, there's other X factors to look at. For example, he's an ambassador to the game. He's he's the captain of the Yankees. He's still going to have a draw. That's one thing. TV ratings, for his 3,000th hit, that's probably going to come sometime this weekend. That's also, merchandising. His shirts. His shirt is still the number one jersey.
why don't you lick his balls while you're at it?
I would love to, but Minka Kelly's already beat me to the punch, brother.
Nice.
I have no idea who that is.
Oh my God! Here's what you do, and this is for all the listeners out there, the 4 of them. It's freaking Minka Kelly. She was on Friday Night Lights. Look at season 1. You will take a look at this girl, and you would not mind if she farted in your mouth.
Understood.
That girl takes all her vitamins and then some.
Understood.
She's perfect. There's a reason why Jeter's a little bit slower these days. And you take a look at that girl that he's with. Yeah.
You think she's
I
sapping
get
his
it.
power? She's sapping his power.
Let me tell you something. What was it, Mickey from Rocky?
Yep.
He said, what did he say about women?
Women weaken legs.
Thank you. Why do you think Jeter grounds into so many goddamn double plays? Minka fucking Kelly.
It's a fair point to make.
She would give a dog a bone.
I agree with you on the Jeter thing, right? Jeter didn't get paid for what his performance is going to be over the course of the next 3 years. It was basically a thank you for all the performance, all the work that he's done over the course.
It's his gold watch.
Yeah. Yeah. And if they didn't sign Jeter, it would have been New York would have imploded. I mean, could you imagine Derek Jeter in like a Kansas City Royals uniform or some fucked up shit like that, right?
I would love that. That would be so awesome.
No, Captain Yankee plays in no other uniform but a Yankee uniform.
Yeah,
Ship
right.
to
They said
Oakland.
that about Favre too.
Jeter did
You
that
don't
to
think
the
he'll
Yankees.
get to that point?
No, Jeter's
No,
done.
I think he'll bow out. I really do. I think this is his last, hurrah.
Well, you know what? I talked to him, and he said he's shooting for another $75 million in his bank.
You had a conversation with Jeter yourself.
Sure.
That's hardcore research right there, Corey. I got to tell
Nice.
you.
Did.
Primary research. That's not secondary. You didn't get that from somebody else. That was a plain conversation.
Showing you chumps how it's done.
It's hardcore,
Nice.
man. I respect.
Where'd you catch him? I saw him at a gas station once, but he wouldn't give me the time of day because, Minky Kelly was sitting in the car, and I don't blame him because I was staring too.
I was licking his balls.
Nice. So you beat me to the punch.
Yeah.
That's awful. Why didn't you invite me over? I would have tag teamed on the other testicle.
Nice.
I'm a little disgusted.
Nice.
Mission accomplished.
But what? All right. So what would you do, Corey? Because some of these things are like some of these contracts are incentive based. Like if you win the Gold Glove, you get X amount of money, or if
Yeah,
you make
but
the
only
All-Star
one
team.
person can do that. I'm saying, like, compare it to your job, right? You get paid for completing your projects, doing some shit, making some sales or whatever.
Well, that's not true. I don't have an incentive based contract at all. My incentive is to show up and keep getting my paycheck.
Right, which involves doing your work.
True, but I'm not paid for performance. Right? I show up.
No, what would happen if you didn't? You would get fired.
I would get fired, but I don't get less money if I don't do certain things.
It comes down. It'll affect your raise and your bonus and whether you're kept on and all that sort of stuff. I mean, it's not as directly comparable, but when you look at some scrub basketball player who has a huge contract who's done nothing but sit on the bench because he's injured for 5 years.
Right. So it's a little different.
There's no motivation. And then what's the classic NFL? It's not a sophomore slump, but it's the new contract slump.
Right.
I got paid, and now I'm not going to work hard for it. Fuck that. You know what? You get the interceptions, you get paid. You get the tackles, you get paid. You get the touchdowns, you get paid. If you're riding the bench, or if you're injured, or you're not doing shit, tough.
So you're saying it should be more of like a sales-oriented type of deal where you get a certain commission based on your
production.
Performance. How's that fly for you, Hammer? You've been in that kind of environment before.
Yeah, I'm going to be honest. I mean, I've been in sales for probably about 8-9 years, and it's that extra carrot that they dangle in front of you that makes you push a little harder, get that extra call in, for the day, make that more aggressive, close, get them to sign on the line that which is dotted. Same rules apply to, what we're talking about here for sports and, NBA players, et cetera. So yeah, I can see a guy diving on the floor a lot harder for a ball, calling timeout if he knows, that's going to get him another, 20 G's. You know what I mean? And it makes it more exciting for the fans, because ultimately that's who it matters to, is the fans. Just like in business, it's the stockholders.
We
the
pay
fans
their
are the
salaries.
stockholders.
Yeah.
Exactly. Absolutely right.
See, and listen, you think Detroit would be as bad as they are, the Detroit football Lions, if those guys weren't incented for wins?
No, there's no saving Detroit. I mean, not until RoboCop's, here in the next, what? When's RoboCop due, Chris? Because I know you're good with timelines and everything.
Or Robo Barry Sanders.
Robo Barry Sanders, yeah. Fuck RoboCop. They're gonna rebuild Barry Sanders as a Robo running back.
But you see my point, right? Like Detroit, they can draft all the number one whatever they want and pay him shit tons of money. That's not going to make it happen because it's one guy. But if you've got all 54 dudes on the roster whose money is tied to them winning the game, you don't think every single one of them is doing whatever they can to get every single one of those wins?
Yeah, it has merit. It absolutely has merit.
How much money, if you think he just decided to say, fuck Jarrell, fuck it all, I'm not going to be, Earth's, champion. Instead, I'm going to go for the mega dollars, and I'm going to play for the Metropolis Knights or whoever the fuck they are.
So wait, hold on. What are we saying?
How much money do you think Clark Kent, with his Superman powers, his Kryptonian powers, can pull down? Obviously, he'll be the best player in the league.
Is this an incentive-based contract?
No, this is like, hey, you are the guy. You are
Dude.
the pinnacle of all great football players ever. They will talk about you. You are the Babe Ruth of football.
A team would spend the entire salary cap on him.
Right. So theoretically, he could pass the ball to himself or just.
He wouldn't need to pass. You think you could tackle Superman?
No. Actually, I might be able to if I catch him by surprise, but I'd have to be
his
outside
legs
for that.
would rip you in half.
What if I had kryptonite? What if I had kryptonite shin guards?
Where are you going to get kryptonite from?
Dude, I'm no fucking Lex Luthor.
Plus, that's not official gear. You'd have to remove it.
Well, but it's authorized to have a Kryptonian running around.
You can't.
It's a slippery slope, my friend.
I mean, where
you can't. What's the word? The D word.
Douchebag? Yes,
no,
you are.
It's a verb.
Douching?
No. God damn it.
my whole thing is here is what do you do about the sun? Because technically Superman couldn't play during the day.
Night games, dude.
You could only play night games with Superman, right?
He doesn't lose his power when the sun goes.
No, but the sun is a performance-enhancing drug,
right?
The sun is a performance-enhancing drug, so you couldn't play. I mean, PEDs are banned in the NFL, so you couldn't play when the sun is out.
He's a solar battery, though. Well, that's been well documented. He could just, go for days underground and.
Yeah, how do you fly around in space?
The sun is out in space, dude. But my whole thing is Superman couldn't play in the NFL because he is performance enhanced.
It's not by choice, though. It's not his
fault. So you're
fault.
saying he's a Lance Armstrong?
Yes.
With a freaky sized heart, you would try and discriminate against him. That's the word I was trying to come up with. Discriminate against him for his biological heritage.
Yeah, he's just a product of his environment right now.
So it's a slippery slope, agreed, right? Because I mean,
no,
that's just like Wilt Chamberlain back when he used to play basketball. He was like 7 feet tall, and everyone else was 5'6". It's not his fault. He scored 100 points.
Yeah, I mean, obviously he would be the best player on any field he steps onto, but I don't know. I mean, clearly Corey is right. You give Superman whatever he wants, and of course, Superman being Superman, truth, justice, and the American way, probably donates his entire salary to charity.
That's not the American way.
No,
you're sorely mistaken, sir.
Sorry. So it's true. So it's just truth and justice then, because he'll keep the money and then he'll just go out and I don't know, what does he do with Lois at that point?
It's good times.
Lois Lane ends up on the Real Housewives of Metropolis. It's completely fucked, right?
They're coming out with a new Superman too. Who's playing the next Lois Lane? Who do they call?
Who gives a shit?
I don't know who's
honestly.
playing the next Lois Lane. It's Henry Cavill who's playing Superman.
Right, a British guy.
Right, a British guy playing America's greatest hero.
Indeed.
America's greatest hero is what's his name? Fucking the greatest American hero.
Oh, the guy with the Jerry curls. I know you're talking
Believe it or not, I'm walking.
That should be your intro song, sir. I think you need to roll with that.
Okay. where do we go from here? Let's wrap it up. Okay,
That's what she said.
what did we learn? What did we learn today, Corey? What did we learn about professional lockouts and sports and athletes and salaries and whatnot?
What I learned is depressing. That it'll take me hundreds of years to earn enough to be able to buy a Ferrari, which is my dream.
There you go. Hammer, what'd you learn?
I learned not to discriminate against the last son of Krypton.
There you go.
Yeah, motherfucker.
My fault. I wasn't discriminating. I was just pointing out that he's like Superman and probably doesn't belong on the field with mere mortals. What do you want from me?
Would you discriminate against people with more fast twitch muscle fiber?
No, but they are not aliens from another world who get superpowered by the yellow sun. I don't know what to tell you. I learned that I don't know what I learned. I learned that I got beat up by Corey and Hammer this week. That was fun.
Yeah, we hammered the shit out of you.
Yep.
You like that? You like that?
That's nice.
At least you check in, and that's the sign of a true lover. I appreciate that, Corey.
Yeah, it's a wonderful.
Looking out for you. I want you to come back.
I'm so happy that the two of you have had this little bonding experience.
I do appreciate the invitation, guys. I too had an enjoyable time.
Well,
I'm rubbing one out right now.
Fantastic.
Will you keep talking?
So if you liked what you heard, check us out.
No,
on
no,
Facebook.
shh, Spears, shh. Come on, Hammer.
You're ruining it.
So close. Oh, forget it. It's not going to happen.
Check us out on
Wait,
Facebook.
what if you turn his mic off and just maybe turn his head around, just look at the back of his head? Would that work for you, Corey?
Yeah.
He hasn't figured out how to mute mics selectively.
All right. Check us out on Facebook, facebook.com/4listeners or 4listeners.com. Give us a download on iTunes. Just search for 4listeners. We'll pop up. Thank you, Hammer, for being
Mika Kelly forever.
Thank you. We hope that you enjoyed this week, and we hope that you will check us out again next week. Thanks a bunch, everybody.
Who could it be?